Hey everyone, welcome. We're gonna just wait 1 second as everyone comes over from the waiting room, and then we will get started. All right, it looks like people are all coming on in, so welcome officially. I'm Tracy Powell, the Senior Marketing Manager for Lightspeed, and we're really excited to have you today's first Lightspeed Learning Lab. This series was created based on input from you, our clients, to help you prepare for a really successful back to school. The Lightspeed Learning Labs are a brand new 5-part series of short 30-minute webinars that are designed to summarize our best practices, our feature updates, new services, training, and support resources, all for you. They're really here to help you maximize your partnership with Lightspeed and understand everything we offer to help you save time and support all the priorities in your districts. So these 5 sessions are all going to be recorded for you to share with your team on demand and to access yourself at any time. We will be doing some Q&A at the end of the session. So if you have questions, you can type them right into the chat display on the top right of your screen. Your questions are, of course, really important. So please don't be shy. Ask for anything that you need. We'll get through as many as we can in the Q&A portion. And if your question doesn't get answered during the Q&A, please know that we'll follow up with you afterwards. And there'll also be a short survey at the end of the webinar. So we'd love if you could fill that out as well. All right, let's dive in. So as we head into this new school year, we know that you and all the schools across the country face a lot of challenges. And Lightspeed, really, as an organization, we're committed to helping you with these challenges, whether it's guarding against cyber threats and risk to student data or dealing with increasing student and teacher wellness challenges while trying to retain your counselors, your IT staff that help solve those challenges. We serve nearly half of the US school districts, which is a big portion of the schools across the United States. We protect more than 20 million students, 11 million devices across the country and even the world. And we work with schools and districts of all sizes, from big ones like Los Angeles and Chicago public schools down to small individual schools like Central Bucks County in Pennsylvania, Holy Trinity Episcopal Day School in Maryland. So a huge wide range, but we see a lot of common challenges across those districts, large and small. And we really have to earn the trust of all of these districts like yourselves. We do that not only by our history in the space of more than 20 years, but really by investing in our product and design organizations to find out what you, our clients and districts need and what we can do for you. So we do that by spending a lot of time asking questions. That informs our product roadmap, what we build, and you'll hear a little bit more about what we're building for Classroom in this session. But we're really committed to helping you solve not just your challenges of today, but also what your challenges will be tomorrow as well. So to kick off the session, you'll see a poll that's going to pop up asking about what your challenges are that are top of mind for you as we enter into this new school year. So the different things that we're hearing to choose between are student safety and mental health, cost and license management, AI app use and policymaking, data privacy and security, and addressing the digital divide. Just give you a second to pop your answer into that poll. You can see all the answers coming in right now. And it looks like far and away, the top answer right now is student safety and mental health. We know that's a really big issue around the country. That's currently getting almost half of the votes coming in. 45% of the votes right now are around student safety and mental health. And second, we see a dead tie between cost and license management and AI app use and policymaking. So we will, in this webinar series, have sessions that cover all of those issues. Student safety and mental health, we'll have a session next Wednesday. And we also have sessions coming up about cost and license management and AI app use and policymaking. So be sure to check your schedules, join us for those as you jump into the school year to talk about these issues that you're facing. All right. Thank you for answering that poll. And
oh, looks like we momentarily lost Tracy, and she's just coming back. And
all right, sorry about that. a quick detour. So as we head into the school year again, over the past year, we've been really busy, just as we know all of you have, and we have lots of exciting new things and features coming this fall. So most of you probably know about our Lightspeed filter, the product that we have in the filtering space, and likely also about our Lightspeed classroom management product, which we'll be talking quite a bit about today. But we also have solutions in the safety and wellness space, engagement and impact that we've designed working really closely with the districts we serve. So some of the exciting releases that you can see coming up, we're working really hard to surface insights for you around edtech apps used across your devices and network to help you reduce cost and improve security and data privacy management. We're also working with a lot of counseling departments and student safety departments to ensure a safe, proactive approach to safety and wellness for students through our Lightspeed Alert product. And finally, we know transparency and communication with parents is key. We just enhanced our parent portal, which you can hear about in this session later this week, to provide a simple process to manage and publicly publish your district's approved apps list. So we're really constantly paying attention to these big problems that can be costly, time-consuming, have a major impact on the learning of our nation's students. And our commitment to you is to really be constantly ahead, solve these problems for you. And you'll see a bit today how we are doing that with our brand new classroom user experience. So today's learning objectives, we'll be talking about how to navigate that new Lightspeed classroom user experience and key features in Lightspeed Classroom. We'll go through some tips for successful rostering and all about how to access resources, especially for training your teachers as you head into back to school with the new classroom management user experience. So why did we create a new user experience? We talked to a lot of teachers. We looked at a lot of data on how classroom was being used, and we realized that we needed a new user experience to really capture teacher needs, address them, add in new features that could all be built off of this new interface, really give teachers easy access to their most used features so that they could get to things quickly, save them time, and also use Classroom much more intuitively. We wanted it to be cleaner. We wanted it to work much more easily for them. And what we found so far, we've heard directly from teachers who were able to use that classroom early, that's exactly what this new user experience does. This quote that you see here is from a teacher who was one of the very first users of the new user experience. It was still in beta mode at the time. And we heard from her that the new classroom was better really across the board, everything from creating groups, applying web roles, automatic sorting between online and offline students. You'll see all of those today. But we also heard that it's much faster, easier, and more user-friendly than the previous version, which was really the goal in creating this new user experience. And a key person in actually creating that user experience is here with me to walk you through it. Paul Rideout, who is our product manager for Classroom, will now take you through all of those features of Classroom, where to find things today, and then, like I said, we'll touch on additional resources that we have. So over to you, Paul.
Thank you so much, Tracy. So let's dive into the key features for our new user experience, and also we'll give a little bit of a preview for what is coming next. So let's go ahead and dive into things. So the first thing that we notice when we log into Classroom now via classroom.relay.school is that we have our brand new My Classes homepage. And much like Tracy had mentioned, this is in direct response to feedback that we'd received from teachers. This is a really neat way to be able to organize classes and save teachers time, where previously they had to navigate to different classes from within a class session. Now we have our brand new My Classes homepage that can also be custom colored to our preference. And then when we dive into one of those classes, one of our brilliant new features is the ability to scale student screens. So we'd received feedback previously that while the screens view was fantastic, we understand that teachers want to go a little step further and zoom all the way into student screens to see exactly what the content is that they're viewing. And an added benefit of this is also that it is really useful for projecting student screens to the rest of the class with use of physical projectors as well. Then we also have our ability to message the class as a whole, expanding on our current student messaging, as well as being able to message any of the segments or groups that we create in the class. So as we see here, we have a group that we called focused learning, and we can simply send them a message as well, and that message will just be received by that group, which is really helpful for expanding on our ability to differentiate learning across different student sets. We also have our custom arranged thumbnails. So all we need to do is simply click on any of the student screen thumbnails or tiles within the screens view, and we can simply drag, arrange them in an order of our preference. And this is so useful because any teachers with the prevalence of being back in the physical classroom, so helpful to be able to arrange the student screens to match the seating charts that we see in front of us. We also have our upgrade and updates to our check-in flow. We now call it available to add. And this again is based on great feedback that we received of how we could improve that workflow even further, save even more time. And that's something we've done here with a section of students at the base of the class that is listed as available to add. And what's really neat is we can see those grayscale screens showing us exactly what the students are viewing in another class, telling us which teacher they're with. And once we confirm that they're actually supposed to be in our class during the session, we simply click on those screens to add them to our class, or we can click add all of those that are available to add at once. Now, web rules, huge feedback around this and something that is very heavily used and loved. So we wanted this to feature prominently, pride of place within the class session. And so as we have circled there, we see that we have an indicator of if web rules are off or if they're on. And then when we jump into web rules, we also have, for the first time, custom color avatars for the web rules, which really helps save time organizing which web rules are which and that apply to different classes. And then all of that is not neglecting all of our other beloved features that still exist within the product and are still heavily used and loved within their own right. We just simply cleaned up the UI and placed the screen locking, the sending of links, sending messages, sharing screen and adding students within the ellipses in the top right. Those are still very much actions that we take on the entire class. And then similarly, within the student flyout itself, any of those individual actions that we take on students, they can be found for any individual student when we click on their screen or thumbnail. And now I'll hand it back to Tracy, who's going to talk about an exciting filter feature that's to come.
Yeah, so this is a feature really useful for teachers heading into the new school year. We heard directly from IT leaders that teachers needed a more convenient method to determine if a website that they were planning to use for a lesson was blocked, which meant then when they went in to deliver that lesson, they wouldn't be able to do so. And so this brand new Access Chrome extension, which will be coming very soon, empowers teachers to deliver those lessons seamlessly by validating and requesting student access to blocked resources ahead of time. So with Lightspeed Access Scan, teachers can go in and identify all allowed and blocked links on a web page, including CDNs in real time, based on a student's filtering policy. All they have to do is simply enter that student's email address right into here. And then if a link does come up that is blocked that they would like to use in their lesson, they can automatically generate an email with all blocked links that they would like to be reviewed by their IT department and just send it right over for a really seamless experience to get those hopefully unblocked before they have to deliver that lesson. So quick and really seamless experience between teachers, IT, so they can go into their lessons knowing that everything's going to work and they'll be able to deliver their content without a hitch. And back over to you, Paul.
All righty. Coming soon. So as we expand on our brand new user experience, something that we're incredibly excited about that expands even further the functionality and capabilities of Lightspeed Classroom Management is our merged classes feature. So much as the name suggests, whenever our SIS rostered data comes through and we actually have students that are in the same physical classroom at the same time, appearing in different class sections, we can simply, within the classroom UI, follow 3 steps to merge those classes together seamlessly. And then all of the students that were in different sections to start out with, within seconds, will be able to be monitored and managed in the same class. And some additional benefits here that we'll also be introducing further custom color organization with the ability to add very, very distinguishable different colors to the thumbnails of the different classes. So as we see here, we've got a nice teal color for geology, a nice green color for world history, for example, and that's something that allows us to differentiate between those classes even easier for organization purposes. And then in addition to merged classes, beyond merged classes, we have more exciting features coming this fall. The first one is co-teaching assignments. And this is something that will save teachers a ton of time, where they can simply assign different teachers to their classes within Classroom without having to involve IT administration, so that when we have substitutes, aides, assistants, you name it, all of those folks that should be monitoring and managing the students at the same time are able to do so super, super quickly. And then the next one there, we're really excited about AI Detect for educators. So with the prevalence of AI usage within homework and the classroom alike, we now within Classroom will provide the teachers the ability to instantly detect when students are using AI apps in the classroom. Now I'll hand it back to Tracy to talk through some rostering tips.
All right, so these are our top 5 roster syncing tips, specifically for Classroom. So tip number 1 is it's best to choose one source for your roster sync as you get started. And then in choosing that source, if you're choosing between Google Classroom and a SIS, the SIS might have cleaner data because Google Classroom is managed by teachers. And with that, it may require a lot of admin cleanup, especially ending semesters, things like that. It's often not the cleanest or easiest to manage source because of the data that's going in. Tip number 3 is that email address is the primary identifier for each individual student. Works really well, except if students have more than one email address in the system you're using to sync, you want to be sure to sync the one that they're going to use. Tip number 4, if using Google Classroom or OneRoster, you want to enable nightly syncing, whereas GG4L will default to nightly sync. And tip number 5, so all of these tips come from and are included in Lightspeed's brand new implementation guides. And so as you're implementing and syncing, you can go into these guides for really in-depth and detailed roster syncing instructions for each source. This is just a quick dive in at the high level. But if you want to see all the ins and outs of roster syncing, that's your place to go. So that'll include how to choose a data source, how to clean up data, how to sync with Google Classroom, OneRoster, GG4L in really deep depth. And you can find those on our help portal. And over to back into the user experience resources. We also have a lot of great resources to help you get teachers up and running on the new user experience for Classroom. So you can get a really full walkthrough of the new user experience and where to find each feature. We have help articles, including one that goes through where everything was on the previous user experience and where it's moved to on the new user experience. You can find absolutely every single feature that you've ever seen within Classroom and where it is now within that help article. There's also help videos created by our excellent product specialist team walking you through the new user experience in detail. Teacher training videos as well. And sorry, those help articles and help videos are on the customer portal. We have a training deck that really kind of walks through a similar thing from what Paul did, but in a little more depth of where to find things and how to use each of these features. So if you want to go and train your teachers and need a resource to walk through, you don't have to make it yourself. We have it all created and PDF'd and ready for you to show them. And we have live teacher trainings that are being led by our product specialist twice per week from August 8th through September 28th. Those are open for sign up right now. They're really directed specifically for teachers who want to understand exactly where to find everything, feel up and comfortable and running with Classroom before they head back in and use it for the new school year. So we will be sending out links to all of these resources. Look for a follow-up email coming from Lightspeed in the next 24 hours with both a recording to this session as well as links to all of these resources for you so that you can get to them in one easy spot. Our professional development team also has a number of trainings on Lightspeed Classroom that they can do with you this fall. These are detailed trainings, everything from a basic training, getting teachers started, to lesson planning in the one-to-one environment, and advanced training, diving deeper into class controls and when to use web rules, and a specific admin training about how to set teacher permissions, troubleshoot. These are all can be customized to you. We can come on site or we can do them digitally, and you'd want to contact your customer success manager to learn about pricing and how to set these up and get people in to train your teams. All right. So before we get into our Q&A, I just wanted to share the Learning Lab's calendar of upcoming sessions this week and next. All of these sessions will be available on demand on August 11th. So as I just said, we'll be sending you out an email with links to the on-demand videos and all of the related resources. Our one session that I'd love to spotlight next week, especially given the initial responses to our poll, is our student safety and well-being session coming next Wednesday, August 9th. So if your district is grappling with student safety and well-being, in this session, you'll learn how districts can use specifically our Lightspeed Alert tool, the powerful machine learning and artificial intelligence to identify students in need of help. You'll hear about best practices on setting up your escalation list. That's a question that we get really often. Actually see data of how other districts are setting up those lists, how to respond to alerts, and how the product is evolving to help support students and staff going into this new school year. So hope that you can join us for that session if this is top of mind for you. And now we can jump into some questions. I see we have a few coming in, and remember, if you do want to ask a question, you can just pop it into the chat at the top right. I will go through. So do teachers need to do anything different to access the new classroom user experience? Paul, I will hand that one over to you.
That's a really easy one. They do not. All they need to do is simply log into classroom.relay.school as they normally would, and they will have all of the great benefits of the brand new user experience. The only thing that we want to make special note of here is if for some reason any of your teachers find that they are seeing a legacy user experience, all that needs to be done is to clear the cookies and cache in the web browser, and then everything will be instantly up to date.
All right. Another question that we've received, are student screens shown live? Sorry, that's a bit of a tongue twister. Or do they refresh something like a few times per minute?
Sure, they are absolutely shown live. So if we see a student on YouTube, for example, we're able to see that live broadcast of the YouTube video.
Great. And another question a bit along the same line of viewing student screens. Has the clarity and resolution improved when looking at student screens from the Chromebooks back over to the teacher PC?
Absolutely. This is something that we're constantly updating and evaluating to make clearer and clearer as we move forward. And the new user experience is no different in that vein, in that our screen broadcasts are crisper than ever before.
Great. A question about messaging. Are we able to custom message students individually?
Yes, we can
Over to you,
absolutely
Paul.
send messages to individual students, and we have the ability to select the custom message option, which is a message of 140 characters.
So someone's asking, did I miss how to merge classes? Can you talk through that one again?
Oh, very exciting. Well, I love the interest. And Chris, please do leave your contact information, because that is something that we would very much like to share with your district at the earliest opportunity to get your great feedback on that. Merge classes is something that's coming very, very soon. We just need to button up a few things, and then it will be able to be utilized.
Great. Will the new UX be available on iPad or desktop only?
The new user experience is available on all of the operating systems that we do support. So this is something that whether it's a MacBook, a Chromebook, any Mac OS devices, Chrome devices, or Windows devices, iPad is not supported at this time.
Another question on messaging, wondering if we can control the amount of time that the message stays up for the student, or if that's something where it will go away in its own time.
Great question. Great question. This is something that we continue to evaluate at the present time. It's something that is a browser notification in the case of Chrome, and a system notification in the case of Mac OS and Windows machines. And in the short-term future, it will remain that way in terms of the time that those messages appear for. But we may have noticed that recently we've been putting out surveys around messaging and what the key needs are there, including the ability for those messages to stay longer. So that's something that we're continuing to evaluate for future improvements. So watch this space on that one.
Great. I think we're coming to the end of our questions and getting close to the end of our time as well. If we haven't addressed your specific question, we will follow up individually with you following this session. And we really want to thank everyone for joining us. Again, look out for links to resources. The recording will be coming. And we hope to see you at additional Learning Lab sessions over the next week and a half.